Special right triangles are shortcuts for SOHCAHTOA in a way. If you know that a right triangle has either 45, 30, or 60 degrees, then you can use special right triangles instead of going to find like the sine, the cosine, or the tangent. So the first kind is 45, 45, 90. These are also called isosceles right triangles because, well, they're isosceles and they're a right triangle. Let's call these sides x and h for our hypotenuse. To find h, we can use Pythagorean theorem. So x squared plus x squared equals h squared. Combine like terms and get x 2x squared equals h squared. Radical both sides and get x radical 2 equals h. So this would equal x radical 2. 30, 60, 90. To show how it is formed, this is an equilateral triangle. Let's say each side is 2x. That means this would be x, this would be 30 degrees, and this would be 60 degrees. To find h, we would have to go to Pythagorean theorem again. So 2x squared equals x squared plus h squared. You would get 4x squared equals x squared plus h squared. Subtract x squared from both sides. Radical, radical, and you would get x radical 3 equals h. Pause the video right now to solve on your own. Okay, since this is x, this is 8, this would also be 8, so t would be 8. And since r would have to be x radical 2, and 8 is x, so it would be 8 radical 2. Pause the video right now. Okay, so this and this would be congruent, so radical 2. And since I is x radical 2, it would be radical 2 times radical 2, which would be radical 4, which would equal 2. So I equals 2. Okay, let's write down everything you know. So 12 is across from 30. And you know that 2x is across from 90, so that would be 24. And x radical 3 is across from 60, so that would be 12 radical 3. So O would be 12 radical 3, and I would be 24. Again, let's write down everything we know. So 2 radical 3 is across from 60. And since you know that 60 is x radical 3, and x would be across from 30, that would make it 2. And 2x is across from 90, so that would be 4. S would be 2, and x would be 4. Okay, so since this triangle over here is an isosceles right triangle, and the 7 radical 2 is the hypotenuse, x would equal 7 since the hypotenuse of an isosceles is x radical 2. This would mean that both E and S would be 7. Onto the 30, 60, 90 triangle. Let's make a little chart to make things more easy. Since 7 is across from 30, C would have to be 7 radical 3, and P would have to be 14. Since C is x radical 3, and P is 2x, and S is x. Okay, since the information given is on the 30, 60, 90 triangle side, let's do that one first. All that is given to us is that 4 radical 3 is across from 90. And we know that what is across from 90 is twice of what is across from 30. So this would be 2 radical 3. And since what is across from 60 is x radical 3, that would have to be 2 times radical 3 times radical 3, which would equal to 6. So A would be 2 radical 3, and I would have to be 6. Since this triangle over here is an isosceles, E would also have to be 6, and L would have to be 6 radical 2.